myth of jack of all trades, master of none, we need to understand it in context that it's both a positive, a negative, and a way to control how we learn any knowledge area. Several years ago, when they say jack of all trades, master of none, a person will become sad and feel like they are not specialists in any technical field or area of knowledge. They would rather than looking at it as a compliment. But with the more information from past adages that have been spoken, people now begin to realize that the jack of all trades, when you pronounce it with the full sentence, it actually makes better sense and was actually a compliment in the past and not a criticism. Hi there and welcome to Catchment of Resources. In this video, we are going to be looking at the myth of jack of all trades and how it applies to the engineering professionals and as well as their career in general. So you see that once you know the full meaning of why jack of all trades was said, meaning that you know so many skills that you can actually work with, but you are better than someone who has just only one skill. But then people now understood it better in a way that if you have so many skills, you are not a master of any. But somebody who chooses one area and is a master of that area is better off than somebody who is a jack of so many trades. But if you look at it closely, if you look at the industry closely, you'll realize that everyone is meant to be a jack of all trades. So when you look at that, the fact, and I will explain why everybody is meant to be a jack of all trades, is that if you look at the top performers in society today, if you look at the Bill Gates, the Elon Musk, the Carnegies, Rockefellers, and the rest, you see that they did not focus on only one industry. Hold on, I will explain. They did not focus on only one industry. They focus on multiple industry. So you see this thing, jack of all trades, master of none, but it's better than someone who knows just one skill. When it was shortened, it had a purpose. When it was shortened, the purpose was that when you are learning a skill, you need to take your time to focus on that skill and perfect it. Once you have perfected that skill, before you then move to a next knowledge area. So you expose yourself to a certain skill for a number of periods, let's say months, weeks, years. Once you have been grounded in that area, you then move on from that technical area to another field and then focus on it until you get better in that knowledge area as well. So you see how in reality, a lot of us actually have multiple skills. But because of this mindset of jack of all trades, master of none, you then begin to channel yourself into a rabbit hole and be tied into just that hole when you have multiple opportunities. You see, there are certain jobs that will say, okay, let's say you don't know how to drive a car. There are certain jobs that will require you to be able to drive a vehicle. I know now we'll say, oh, it's easy, it's required, you can drive a vehicle. But before a car was invented, the humans know they can actually drive cars. Nobody knew they could have those kind of skills. In the same vein, there are certain people that when they have to go and do water works, probably they are going to be working at a dredge site, they are going to be dredgers in their profession. They will require you to swim, and maybe you don't know how to swim before. Maybe the only sport you do is running. But then they say you have to pass this swimming course for you to be recruited for this job. And because you really want the job, you put your mind in shape and you go for the training and you begin to swim and you perfected it, meaning that you have other skills as a human being that you don't know or is yet to be revealed. So when I'm saying this myth of jack of all trades, master of none, we need to understand it in context that it's both a positive, a negative, and a way to control how we learn any knowledge area. It's a call for us to understand that any new thing we are learning, we need to give it time for us to master it before we then move on to another knowledge area. Not that we just take one, we dabble into another, we'll be confused. Otherwise, why would somebody who is building cars, energy efficient vehicles, which are renewable energy, then is also building rockets going to space? Between a car and a rocket, there is a far big difference. But we as, will I say the common man, we tell ourselves that jack of all trades, master of none, then we focus on one area. And once that area is obsolete, we now become obsolete as people. So I'm saying that this myth of jack of all trades, you need to break free from it and understand that humans are meant to multiply their specialization. It's just that you do it in a time manner. You take one skill, you master it over a period, then you pick up another skill, you master it over a period, then you pick another, you master it over a period, and you're productive in each of them as they are yielding benefits for you. Furthermore, if you check it very well, a lot of us are going to be on earth for, let's say, more than 60 years. If every 4 years you learn 3 skills, and for 60 years you're talking of 3 times 15, which is about 45 skills. So by the time you are 60 years old, you have learned 45 different skills. It's better than just focusing on one area that is not really beneficial to you or to generations after you. So you have seen the majors, the industry players, those who are actually winning globally. You see that they don't focus on only one area. And I think we need to adapt this to our thinking as engineers in general. Thank you for watching this video. This is Catchment of Resources, where we create for better living.